Welcome to Writing to Win Applied Grammar. In this video, you will learn how to form compact sentences with an infinitive, participial, or past participial phrase. Let's practice a few to see what we mean. Begin by reading the sentences in the sentence building puzzle separately. The base sentence, on the beach they uncovered an unusual piece of driftwood, and the signal sentence, decades of weathering sculpted the driftwood. The signals for combining these sentences are in parentheses. Begin by moving the comma signal in parentheses in front of the sentence it follows. The next signal in parentheses tells us to change the ending of the verb in the signal sentence so it ends with ed. The final signal in parentheses tells us to invert the location of the subject and object of the signal sentence. In this puzzle, we swap the places of decades of weathering and the driftwood. Next, we must insert the conjunction by immediately after the verb. Finally, we need to delete any repeated words. In this puzzle, we delete the driftwood from the signal sentence. Now we can read our final combined sentence. Capital O, on the beach they uncovered an unusual piece of driftwood, comma, sculpted by decades of weathering, period. That sounds like an acceptable English sentence. Click Submit and see if the computer agrees. It does! The combined sentence was acceptable. Let's try a few more. Begin by reading the sentences in the sentence building puzzle separately. The base sentence, before you go camping, something would be wise, and the signal sentence, you will fix those leaks in the tents. The signals that we use to combine these sentences are in parentheses. Begin by replacing something in all caps with the it signal from the parentheses. Next, move the for signal in parentheses in front of the sentence it follows. Finally, the to signal in parentheses tells us to change the verb in the signal sentence into its infinitive form. So we will change will fix into to fix. Now we can read the final combined sentence. Capital B, before you go camping, comma, it would be wise for you to fix those leaks in the tents, period. That sounds like an acceptable English sentence. Click Submit and see if the computer agrees. It does! The combined sentence was acceptable. Let's try one more. Begin by reading the sentences in the sentence building puzzle separately. The base sentence, the batter hesitated, and the signal sentences, the batter is next, the batter swings at the ball, someone destines the ball for downtown Cincinnati, and someone puts the game out of reach. The signals for combining these sentences are in parentheses. The first signal in parentheses tells us to move the word before in front of the sentence it follows. We also need to change the verb into its participle form by adding ing to its ending. In this puzzle, we change the verb swings into swinging. The second signal in parentheses tells us to change the verb into its past participle form. In this puzzle, we change the verb destines to destined by adding ed to the end of the verb. The third signal in parentheses tells us to move the conjunction and in front of the sentence it follows. We also need to change the verb into its participle form by adding ing to its ending. In this puzzle, we change the verb puts into pudding. Next, we need to insert the underlying adjective from the first signal sentence in front of the repeated noun it describes. In this puzzle, we insert the adjective next in front of batter in the base sentence. Finally, we delete any repeated words or vague words that add no details to the sentence. In this puzzle, we delete the batter from the second signal sentence and the ball from the third signal sentence. We also delete the word someone in the third and fourth signal sentences. Let's read the final combined sentence. Capital T, the next batter hesitated before swinging at the ball destined for downtown Cincinnati and putting the game out of reach, period. That sounds like an acceptable English sentence. Click Submit and see if the computer agrees. It does. The combined sentence was acceptable. In this video, you have learned how to form compact sentences with an infinitive, participial, or past participial phrase.